Hello, welcome to my channel. So today we'll be looking at a very important topic, which is joint property ownership between couples. Couples in this sense can be a husband and a wife. It can be a man and his concubine, a sugar daddy and his sugar baby. Couples coming together to co-own a property. That is what we will be looking at in today's episode. What is the position of the law when two couples come together to co-own a property? In case you're meeting me for the first time, my name is Kristas. I'm a real estate consultant based in the city of Portharcourt, and it is my job to ensure that my clients make the best and the right real estate decision. And in this YouTube channel, I inform and educate everybody that is interested in investing in real estate on all that they need to know before going into real estate. If you're a returning subscriber, welcome back to our channel. We celebrate you and we are happy that you are here. And if you are new to this channel, please consider subscribing to our channel. Click on the bell notification so you'll be notified when we post new videos, and also to give this video a thumbs up. It is very common to see couples coming together to co-own a property. You see a lot of people, when they are single, they buy properties in their name, but as soon as they are married, they buy property in the name of both themselves and their spouse. It is very common. In fact, a lot of people consider it to be the most ideal thing to do. If as a man you want to buy property, you make sure you include the name of your wife in that property. If as a woman you want to buy property, you make sure you include the name of your wife. A lot of people consider that to be the ideal thing. But then what happens after? Because people do a lot of things these days because of love. You know, when you get into a marriage, the love is there, everything is there, and you do anything you want to do because of love. What if tomorrow that love is no longer there? What if tomorrow that person you call your husband or your wife is no longer there? What will be the after effect of that property that the both of you bought together? I'm not trying to use this video to preach divorce or separation in a marriage. I am not an advocate of that. I'm not preaching divorce or separation with this video. But then it is important we know the right thing to do at every point in time. When a husband and wife come together, pool funds together to buy a property, it is referred to as joint ownership. Or when a husband or the wife, one of them, decide to buy a property in the name of both of them, it is also referred to as joint ownership. If a man decides to buy a property and include the wife's name in the property, it is called joint ownership, and the both of them have equal rights over that property, notwithstanding if the wife or the husband didn't contribute a dime in that property. If maybe they want to buy a property of 10 million and they decide to split it 50-50, husband bring 5 million, wife bring 5 million, they have equal rights. But then even if husband brings 9,500,000 and wife bought 500,000 alone, they both have equal rights over that property because the name of both of them appears in the document. So they both have equal rights over that same property. Now, joint ownership means two or more persons having equal rights over a property. But in this case, a husband and a wife, the both of them have equal rights over the property that both of them buys in their name. They both have the right to use, to keep, and to sell the property. It means that both of them, husband have the right to use the property, wife have the right to use the property, because the both of them are co-owners of that property. It also implies that in a joint ownership where the husband and the wife are the co-owners of a particular property, one party cannot sell the property without the consent of the other party. This also applies when the couples are divorced. If a couple is divorced and they jointly own a property, the both of them have the right to use, keep, or sell the property. One of them cannot transact independently without the consent of the other party. One major reason why people choose to go for this joint ownership is the fact that as a man, if you co-own a property with your spouse, if anything happens tomorrow and maybe you are no longer there, the family does not have any rights over that property. They cannot claim the property. For those that are in the southeastern part of Nigeria, where a man will die and the family will come and claim the property. If a property is co-owned by a man and his wife, the family have no rights over that property because the wife's name is there as a co-owner of the property, and if anything happens to the wife becomes the sole owner of the property. Again, for the women, if you co-own a property with your husband and maybe anything happens, and maybe the man have other children elsewhere, he have a concubine that gave birth to a male child for him or anything, they don't have any say in that property that carries your name. As long as your name appears there in that document, the concubine or any children that your husband have outside doesn't have a say in that particular property that carries your name. There are some important things to look out for in every joint ownership, and one of them is the name of both spouses must appear in the documents. If the man is Mr. No, I don't want to use my name because I will not divorce in Jesus' name. But then I've been using Emeka in my video, so let me use Mr. Emeka in this video. If you're Emeka, sorry, you will not divorce in Jesus' name. If the man is Mr. Emeka and the wife is Mrs. Chidima, the both of their name must appear in the document, and it will not appear as Mr. and Mrs. Emeka Okafor. No, it is going to appear as Mr. Emeka Okafor and Mrs. Chidima Okafor. That is how it is going to appear. It is going to appear in this format. Some people, you will see some document and what will be there is Mr. and Mrs. Emeka Okafor. It is to the woman's detriment, because if anything happens and tomorrow the man is no longer there, that woman might lose that property. As a woman, it is important you know that you are Mrs. Emeka Okafor at that point when you are still married to Mr. Emeka. But if peradventure something happens tomorrow and the both of you divorce, you are no longer Mrs. Emeka. The person who then is the wife of Mr. Emeka at that point in time automatically becomes Mrs. Emeka. So the both of you can buy a property, and in the document it is stipulated Mr. and Mrs. Emeka Okafor. And unfortunately, something happened and the both of you divorce. Even if you go to court, you are no longer Mrs. Emeka Okafor as long as the man have married a new wife. So it is important, it is stated very, very clear, Mr. Emeka Okafor and Mrs. Chidima Okafor. If you put it this way, then at any given point in time, the woman owns the property if anything happens. The next thing to note in joint ownership is purchasing a property in your spouse's name. Purchasing a property in your spouse's name can be regarded as an act of love, but it is never joint ownership. If you buy a property in the name of your wife, it is not your property, and the both of you does not own that property. The property solely belongs to your wife, whose name is in the documents. The court will look at it this way, that the intention was to gift the property to your spouse, not actually buying in their name. If you buy in their name, the court will look at it that you have gifted that property to your spouse, and this is what is being referred to as presumption of advancement. If you are buying a property in your husband's name, or you are buying a property in your wife's name, that property is not yours. The both of you does not own that property. The person whose name appears in the document is the person who owns the property. And if there happens to be a dispute between the both of you, if there's a divorce or anything, the person whose name appears in the document, even if he is not the one that bought the property, he is going to be declared the rightful owner of that property. So if as a wife your husband buys a property for you and the name in the document is his own name, unfortunately he never bought that property for you, because as long as his name is in the document, the property still belongs to him. If as a girlfriend your boyfriend gives you a property and the name is in his name, then that property belongs to your boyfriend, not you. The next thing to note in joint ownership is that the both party owns equal rights in the property. If in a joint ownership the husband brings 95% of the money and the wife brings 5% of the money, the both of them own equal rights as long as that property is concerned. If the husband brings 100% of the money and the wife does not contribute anything, as long as her name is there as a co-owner in that property, she have equal rights with the husband who brings 100% of the money. Now, in the event of death, no third party can lay claim to a property that is co-owned. If, for example, a man he got married when he had already given birth to a child outside wedlock and he co-owned the property with the wife, if after the man's death the first son of the man that he got outside wedlock cannot lay claim to the man's property. Why? Because the property is co-owned by him and the wife. And in this case, if one party dies, the surviving party becomes the sole owner of the property. If peradventure they divorce, the both of them still remains co-owners of the property even though they are divorced, and the both of them, they have the right to decide what to do with the property. They can either decide to sell, they can either decide to split the property. If maybe it is a land, they can decide to split it. One party take his own part, the other party take her own part, or one party can decide to buy off the other party's share in the property, which of course must be voluntarily. So these are some of the things you need to know about joint ownership of a property by couples. In my next video, I will still be talking about joint ownership. I'll be talking about a term called tenancy in common and joint tenancy, where I will be also explaining the term right of survivorship. I'll be explaining that term in my next video. It also have to do with joint property ownership, so make sure you're subscribed to this channel so you will not miss out on that video. If you have gotten value from this video, please ensure you give this video a thumbs up, subscribe to our channel, and please do well to turn on the bell notification so you'll be notified when we post new videos. Till I come your way next time, my name is Kristas Properties.